You're watching Open Agenda. Here's our host, Joe White.
Welcome to Open Agenda. I'm your host, Joe White. In the studio with us right now is Mr. Bob Taylor from Salisbury.
Thank you.
Mr. Jim Atkins from Mardella.
Good morning.
So we've heard a lot in the news. Again, this has come back up. The DAF tank out in Hebron. For many of us, we remember this before COVID. This was a before COVID story that the county had to go back and change a lot of the zoning laws and possibly actually start enforcing zoning laws that were not passed back in or were not in, that were in effect in 2018, 2019, right?
Well, there hasn't been much enforcement, but there has been an amendment of the zoning code.
Yeah.
We can get into that. Yeah.
So I want to bring in Lynette Kenny. She's a business owner out in that the west side of the county. She's a resident. She lives within eyesight of the DAF tank that's out on Porter Mill Road. We've heard there's over 24 plaintiffs in this, including 2 large environmental groups. But we've heard from so many people about the issues of smell out that way. So I'd like to really hear about what they're going to do. And then, Bob, I'd like to get your legal advice as far as what you think is going to happen next with the legal process here.
And I can add, I've driven by a couple times and there isn't smell.
Yeah, and no one's driving by just to catch a smell, All right, Jim, would you come back in after we have a chance to talk with Lynette?
Of course, right? Of course.
So stay with us. When we come back, we're going to bring in Lynette Kenny from the west side of Wicomico County, talk about DAF. Welcome back to Open Agenda. In the studio with us now, Mr. Bob Taylor. Thank you for sticking around. And we also have Miss Lynette Kenny from Hebron. And I appreciate you coming in today. You're part of a group out that way. And I want to ask you, what is the name of that group and what are you working towards or working against?
We're an ad hoc group, and we're called the Neighborhood Action Group, and we call ourselves NAG for short.
Okay.
And we just wanted to have a name to kind of symbolize what we're doing in the neighborhood. So.
And what are you doing?
We formed back in 2019 when we found out about the DAF tank coming to our neighborhood, and we formed to go out and did petition and tried to see what we could do to get it stopped.
How many DAF tanks are there?
In Wicomico County?
Yes.
Actually, there's 2.
2, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what is a DAF tank used for?
The DAF tank is used to store the waste stream from the rendering plant in Linkwood, for the most part, or from processing plants from all over the place. Okay. And I would like to say something, too, about there being 2 DAF tanks. The first DAF tank was built over 20 years ago as a dairy slurry. Okay. And it was mandated by the state of Maryland. It was an agricultural tank. They didn't have to go through the process of getting the a building permit, but not a commercial building permit. It was the farmer sold his dairy, and there's the tank sitting there. So he was approached to start storing this. So it was a seamless conversion from dairy to DAF. Okay. And the DAF tank that's near us was the first DAF tank that we can find on the shore. They had to go through the process of getting a building permit to store DAF.
And there's been a lot of controversy about whether that permitting process was done properly, correct?
Correct.
And you said you started back in 2019. Mm-hmm. There's been a time where the county council has taken this up and they've put new restrictions on DAF tanks. Have those restrictions been implemented at this second tank that you're talking about, the one near your house?
The one, actually, it will not affect the tank at all near our house. What will affect is tanks going forward. And what it does is it says that the tanks have to be placed in the I2 zone, industrial zone, and that they have to be closed top. And actually, DAF tanks, unless you go through a different process than just storage, can't have a top on it because it would explode because of the gases that build up in it. So the tank near us could not have a top put on it because it would explode. Okay. So
now, Bob, we talked about right to farm bills being part of the argument that this should be there, but a right to farm bill is different than an industrial operation like a DAF tank, right?
Well, yeah, what a right to farm law does is essentially protects farmers from nuisance suits for effects of their agricultural operations. For example, crop dust when you're combining, whereas storing it in a tank for later application somewhere else, most of the material that goes into the tank is not applied at the site.
Yeah.
None of it.
And wasn't produced at the site either.
No.
It's produced
That's right. It's
off-site.
brought in. So it's the farm law doesn't really apply to zoning. I also believe that it doesn't apply to the nuisance counts that are in the lawsuit that's been filed because it's not an agricultural operation.
This is an industrial
It's a
operation.
commercial industrial operation.
So-
The reason that these would be okay in the I2 zone is because the material that's in it, it's organic material, and it biodegrades. It's called putrefaction, and that's what produces the gases that come out that produce the odors. I mean, that's the source of the problem here. That's permitted. Composting facilities are permitted in the I2 zone. So they would be okay there. Now they have to be enclosed. It would have to be enclosed under the amendment that was made 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So there's a place where they can go in the county. It's just not in the agricultural zone or other zones, residential, and can't have it there.
So Lynette, your group wrote a letter back in the summer to the county executive and the county council
Right.
requesting an update on their actions. And I want to go back to when our county executive was running for office back in 22 at a PACE conference held by SU. It specifically was brought up about environmental concerns, and she chose to bring up DAF tanks.
Please tell us what environmental issue or issues you are most interested in and how you might approach addressing them as county executive.
DAF tank definitely is a hot topic issue. I have met with the residents out there and they are up in arms right now. I mean, they feel like their quality of life is being affected, but we also know that agriculture is the economic driver here. So we have to be very cautious about the word ban, things like that on DAF tanks. So definitely I'm really hoping and praying that that the county council is able to kind of put this at rest as to what we're going to be doing with the DAF tank.
You have not received any response, right?
No, neither us as individuals or any of the groups that are participating in this, nor the lawyers have received a word back from any of the entities that it was sent to.
So what did that cause you to do? I mean, what options did that leave you?
The letter states simply that, make this wrong a right, or we're going to have to take steps to see that we can make it right in a court of law.
So your group and these other groups, over 24 folks are on the lawsuit suing the landowner, the proprietor, and also the county is also named as a defendant in this lawsuit. Is that accurate?
It is. When you say proprietor, it's specifically Denali Water Solutions and the owner of the tank, and also the county.
Yeah. Now, are they partners in this?
We don't know yet.
Okay. There's some ambiguity there, right?
Right, and that will of course be brought out when we get to court.
Okay.
And through discovery, we'll find out a lot of the business operations that are going on there.
I mean, we know, don't we, when that Denali brings in a lot of product.
Oh, definitely.
DAF product that goes in the tank.
That's their business.
And when they had the spill there a year or so ago, Denali was involved in cleaning it up. And I think I've heard, maybe you told me, maybe somebody else, that at that time, Mr. Burns said that, well, I'm just a contractor, subcontractor with Denali.
He is the one who owns the property,
Yes.
but he also may be a partner or a subcontractor in this business. We don't know.
We don't know, and I, I'm not going to say. He says he owns the tank, and so we go to court. We'll find out through discovery just what the dealings are there.
But he's not rendering animals on that property.
No.
That material's brought in from other properties.
Correct.
The talk about the spill. What led to the spill, and was there any lasting impacts from the spill other than the smell?
There was a equipment that failed on the tank, and thousands, tens of thousands of gallons spewed out of that thing into the adjoining non-tidal wetlands. And it was a large area that was covered with that. The smell was bad. The lasting effects, water quality, it takes time for chemicals to leach down to the water table. So we really don't know yet what the effects of that. It takes time for chemicals to leach down.
Has this affected your quality of life in that area?
It's changed it, definitely. We never know when the odor is going to blow our way. And it depends on which way the wind blows. And if you read reports of people who live near storage of any kind like this and application, it just depends on which way the wind blows. Now, we've got a neighbor that has a plane he flies over every now and then. And his wife won't even fly with him anymore because at over 700 feet up, she just gets so nauseated from it.
So, and recently, Mr. Burns, the property owner, has elected to remove trees on the property. Is it now within sight line?
Oh yeah. It seems to me it was maybe 2 years ago now that the trees were removed. Yeah. And we have a nice, good vision there of it.
Yeah. So, Bob, I want to talk about the legal aspect of this. Can you dive into it?
Let me just maybe bring a couple things out that are in the suit, too. In addition to the odors and affecting the quality of your life that way, hasn't it also affected, there's an awful lot of traffic coming in, their tanker trucks primarily.
I was once asked by the county if we could take care of the odor, would that make you happy? And I immediately said, no way. It's the trucks really scare me because they aren't just, it's a commercial tanker truck and they're hauling 6,000 gallons of this stuff. And the roads are narrow and there's no shoulder. You have to get off. And if the shoulder's wet or snow covered, you're pulled down into that.
We're talking about country roads here.
Yes, it's nothing but country roads.
6,000 gallon is the tanker. The whole tank, I think, is roughly 3 million.
3 million gallons, but that's a big issue because the road, it's chewed up the roads, and the county's constantly having to come out and patch it here, patch it there. Porter Mill has never been paved, but there are sections of asphalt pavement, but it's never been paved the whole length of it.
And just roughly, I kind of looked at the pictures. I don't know the dimensions. It looks like it's possibly 25 feet tall.
It's 23 feet tall. I think it's 147 feet in diameter.
Yeah.
It's a big spot.
Yeah. So we're talking about a lot of material and a lot of stuff and therefore a lot of odor coming off of it. My understanding is, too, that when he got his building permit, he told the county that he was only going to store material in it during the winter months. You can't spread on the land in Maryland. Now, my understanding is that's not the case. He has material in there essentially all year round, coming and going.
Right now, here it is in October. That thing is 4/5 full. So they have to empty it between now and December 15th because that's when they have to start filling it up again.
All over again.
Because it cannot be applied to the land beginning December 16th until March 1st. They can start applying again on March 1st. So we're gearing ourselves up for the big influx now. In fact, I think it started today. There's been several trucks up there. So it's been cyclical. We had actually a state representative tell us, don't worry about it. It's going to be winter when that thing's full and the odor's not going to affect you. Well, that's not so. So, that's just one of the things that we didn't know until time bore it out.
Yeah, just a little kind of a related fact. I mean, most states are getting much tighter on both the storage and to some extent the land application. Missouri, I think, has just essentially prohibited any land application of DAF. I mean, it's a pretty big poultry state. As part of the reasoning here, or part of the result of this, is that they're now beginning to ship more stuff to Pennsylvania. Because as I pointed out, you can spread there all year round. You don't have to get permits. In Virginia and Delaware, to spread on a particular farm, you have to get a state permit for that farm.
We don't exactly know what's in those tanks because they do get tested once a year, and that sample's pulled from what used to be the PIA, Public Information Act. Information we got was pulled by Denali, and then it's sent to the state chemist, who they do their testing on it to see what's in the mix. But the DAF that goes into the tank comes from different sources, and it's tested once a year. So who knows exactly what the nutrient makeup is in that tank? You're going to go off of that one test one time a year by the state chemist.
Getting back to the lawsuit, though, I mean, you indicated there are, I think, a couple dozen individual plaintiffs. Now, they all live essentially in close proximity. How many of them, I know you've lived there for quite a while. How many of them were living there before the tank? You know, I'm just trying to look at it that way.
I would say all but one.
So,
Most of us have been there decades.
Yeah, you've been there for a couple or longer.
Try 49 years come Thanksgiving Day.
Lived there for quite
Yeah.
a while, probably have a good bit of money in. And here they bring the tank in, and essentially it makes it so there are times when you really can't even go outside on your lawn if you want
Correct.
to and sit out and have a barbecue.
I've taken my grandkids out to play there because I watched them before they went to school, and there's been days that go out and it's like 5 minutes. We have a nice playground built for them. It's like, it stinks out here. Let's go back in the house. So it's, that's unfortunate that we have to do that, because the kids' enjoyment itself is been hindered.
Yeah, the reason that I got involved in it, I became aware of it when I was the county council's attorney. Just before I left, it kind of broke. People started coming in and complaining. So I was aware of it that way, but I never got involved in what the county council eventually did. Andy Mitchell became the attorney during that phase. But I was also always interested in it because, I mean, after I left, I thought, frankly, that the residents, Lynette and the others, were getting the cold shoulder from the county. I mean, the county code says that if there's a zoning violation, and I think, and others do, including the attorney that has brought the lawsuit, that there is a zoning violation, and we think it's pretty clear. This is not an agricultural operation. It's not permitted in an agricultural district. And when you have that situation, the code says the county planning department is supposed to take action, and in fact, the executive is in charge of that.
Okay.
And can bring the action, the
Themselves.
executive, if he or she wants to. It's been under 3 different executives, so it's not just the current one. Part of the lawsuit is to get action. They kicked the can down the road and did an amendment 2 years ago of the zoning code, but it doesn't address this tank. It doesn't, she pointed out.
But one thing that did, and this gratifies me in this whole process. The tank's still there, but our actions have prevented other tanks from being built in Wicomico County.
That's true.
And so, something like this, unless it's in your backyard, you don't really care about it, and it doesn't get involved. We know people who lived on Dagsboro Road, Leavenworth Road, Rockawalken Road, Porter Mill Road down at the end that know what we're going through because they lived through the application of this stuff. But unless it's in your backyard, you have no idea how it's going to affect you. And, you think, okay, they think in terms of manure. Manure is temporary.
It is.
This is
2
not,
days.
Yeah, this is not manure. This is a waste, residual organic product.
And it's concentrated.
It is concentrated.
Getting back though to the county and the law aspect of it, maybe I was involved 35 years ago in the famous DeShiel landfill case, rubble fill case, and there, when the new owner of it, he bought it from the DeShiel contracting firm. It wasn't the DeShiels that were involved in the court, but he started bringing in stuff other than rubble and other than to shield rubble from their construction sites. The county almost immediately, when it was brought to their attention, took action, went to court, closed it down, which in my view is what's appropriate here.
That's what the protection of government should be.
Yeah, and we've just seen within 6 months ago, roughly, the biorefinery matter.
On Atkins Mill Road.
And again, once they found out what he was proposing to do, after they had given the building permit for the pole barn, they went in and said, "You've got to shut this down." They issued an order. He's appealed it. It went to the Board of Appeals. The Board of Appeals affirmed what the county had done, said, "No, that's not an agricultural operation."
Can you
Just
talk
a
a
matter
little
of time.
Can you talk a little bit about this last part of the lawsuit, this disgorgement? Disgorgement. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
this is really an unusual part of it. But there's doctrine in law that if you've done something improper and profited by it, and that would be and it goes back to we were talking earlier about what was said when they got the building permit for the tank.
Initially, years ago.
Yeah, I mean, for example, some of the things that were said was it was only going to be used in the winter. Well, that's not true. It was only going to be used for spreading on his property by him. Apparently, that's not true. These are all allegations in the complaint. The law firm that's brought the suit has concluded that that's fraudulent misrepresentation to get the permit for the tank to do what they've been doing. So, as I say, there's a common law doctrine that you can then ask for any profits that have been made from your ill-gotten gains, if you want to call them that, have to be disgorged. And in this case, it would be to the public. So it's been like a public fraud, if you will. So the money that they're asking to be disgorged would go to the county.
Who's the defendant in
So
this?
yeah, this is really an oddball one. You have three defendants. You've got Denali that brings the stuff in and that is, I believe, maybe taking some of it out too of the tank. You've got Burns, who has the property, has where the tank is, and you've got the county, which hasn't taken any zoning action, enforcement action. I mean, to me, I think if I were the county, I would be thinking, maybe I ought to take this zoning action. I probably have to do that anyway. I think they should get a legal opinion from the county attorney. And if the opinion is, the plaintiffs are right, you have to do something, I'd say, well, look, we want to be released from the case.
Yeah. Well, Lynette, I appreciate you coming in and talking about this. And I hope that as there's updates that you would be sharing with us either on camera or off camera, and we'll relay them on.
Okay,
and if there's anything that comes up public hearing wise, we'll make sure that we relay it out there to the public.
Okay.
So thank you. Thanks for watching this segment of Open Agenda. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Open Agenda. In the studio with us again is Mr. Jim Atkins from Mardello.
Morning.
Thanks for sticking around, Bob, from Salisbury.
Sure
Appreciate you. So it was very interesting to get to speak with Lynette Kenny. For someone who's knee deep in this, no pun intended, she's just really very still positive on the outlook, and it seems like she's very diligent with what she's pursuing here.
Yes.
And not just her, the other 24 plaintiffs and the two big groups that are part of this. Jim, I want to ask you, do you live close enough that you catch a whiff of this every once in a while?
If I get I'm probably, as the crow flies, probably about 2.5 miles away from them. And if there is a good south wind, I have smelled it. I have smelled it.
How would you describe the smell? Is it putrid or is it just...
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Different than manure?
Oh, definitely different from manure. And we have a farm that we lease out to farmers. But one of the conditions on that lease is that they are not allowed to spread that. We allow chicken manure, but that material and these other materials, they are not allowed to put on our land because of the odor, and it doesn't go away. The joke for anybody who has a farm is when they spread chicken manure, it's the smell of money.
Okay.
Because it's making the crops grow. But the stap smell does not go away after a week or 2 weeks. It's still there.
You'd give the money back.
Yeah, they can have it. They can have it.
Bob, you're talking off camera about the role of the poultry industry on the Eastern Shore, and there was a couple really key stats that you had just about the amount of farms on Delmarva that are producing chickens and their size and the size of the chickens, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's data on this. In fact, mine comes from Delmarva Chicken Association. It's downloaded this morning. The last 20 years, according to them, the number of growers has dropped by over 40%.
Okay.
Now, they've become larger because there are more poultry houses, broiler houses, I should say. So you just look at it that way, and they're much larger but fewer numbers of actual producers. Also, the number of birds has changed, or the number of pounds has gone way up. It's about 40% higher than it was 20 years ago.
The weight of the average bird's gone from
Well,
5 pounds to
I'm talking
7.
about the total production
Okay.
has gone up about 40%. But the average bird size in the last roughly 35 years has gone from 5 pounds to 7 pounds.
Okay.
That's a 40% increase. So what you're having is fewer producers with larger amounts of houses producing larger birds.
Yeah.
But the total poundage as part of the national production is actually dropping for Delmarva.
We're losing market share.
We're losing production share, yes. And that's because there's been more expansion south and to some extent in the western U.S. as well.
But this is not about excluding small family farms. I mean, by limiting or eliminating DAF tanks, we're not taking the small farmer still in this area and eliminating them or putting curbs on their ability to make a living. This is about fighting against the industrialization of bird production or even animal rendering as a whole.
Yeah, really, what this has to do is what you do with the waste product from poultry processing.
Yeah.
That what they call DAF. That's removed from the wash water that they use in the processing plants.
Yeah, and if the citizens ride around the county and they get on these back roads, you will see a lot of square containers sitting at the edge of fields that look like a trailer off a tractor trailer. And that's what these containers are. Mm-hmm. They bring this material in and they put it in that container, and then the processors come in and take it out of that tank and spread it and disk it in and whatever, and then that tank is gone. That is nothing related to a DAP tank that they're dealing with out on Porter Mill Road. I mean, that is, and to get back to the smell, if people want to really understand the stench and odor, just imagine some of the times you ride through Route 50 in Salisbury, and you come by the Purdue processing plant, and you get that whiff on a bad day. This is what these people are putting up with all the time.
When they're trying to be outside.
Exactly. Well, exactly. The people who live very close are putting up with this every day. The people who may be a half a mile or a mile away are putting up with it, depending on the wind direction that day. But, I mean, this is a rank odor that these people are living with, and it gets in the house.
Purdue's credit, they are trying to do something about this. They had started a plant up in what is Seaford, I believe, to do biodigesting of it. That, I think they sold the plant to another company, and it's being expanded. I don't know where that stands. I've heard there's been some objection in the neighborhood, but it's a closed system. It doesn't produce odor. Mm-hmm. And that's what's going to happen here. We're going to eventually get away, I think, probably from land spreading as well, because of the odor problem.
Unless it's been through a digester.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this episode of Open Agenda. We'll be back later this week with another new episode.
I know what I'm doing, man.
Now, I'm not up here asking for a medal or some sort of certificate of achievement.